Hello everyone, in this video I would like to introduce a Julia package I've written, which I call PimpMyREPL. The name is taken from the MTV TV show Pimp My Ride, where they took normal cars and added a bunch of crazy things to them. And the intention of this package is to do the same, but instead of cars we have the Julia REPL. So this package is not yet in metadata, so we have to use the clone commands. So we can just copy and paste it from the README. And then if we use the package, it's gonna pre-compile for a bit. And then, yeah, I can try that it works like that. It seems to work. And typically you want this package to start directly when Julia starts, and it's a bit annoying to do it manually, so if I bring over my .julia.rc file here, I have a script in the README down here, which just, if you copy paste it in here, it basically waits for the REPL to be loaded, and then it just uses the package. So if you copy paste this, it's going to be loaded directly when Julia loads. So if I now save this file and then I go out of Julia, starts it again, and now it starts when Julia starts. So one of the main features of this package, I would say, is the syntax highlighting. So if I start to write a function now, and maybe I have a symbol or a string, or I can start having a comment here. It's gonna highlight that, and the history also is highlighted like that. Now there's a few different color schemes already implemented, so if you write color schemes like that, you can see the ones that we have, and we can see the output from a given color scheme by test color scheme and then what it's called. So the one we're using right now is called Monokai 256, and we can see the output from that one, or we can look at the boxy Monokai. Looks a bit different, and we have the Julia default color schemes, which is like that if you hate color and love bold. And there's also the Monokai 16, which just uses 16 colors instead of 256. So if you're on the Windows command prompt, then that one is good to use because it doesn't support 256 colors. And by default, the 256 color Monokai will be used on Linux and Apple, but if you're on Windows, it will default to the 16 color version. So if you have a terminal on Windows which supports 256, you can just set the color scheme with this color scheme setter. So if I change my color scheme now to this, for example, you can now see that we have a different color scheme active, like that. Now there's a way to test how many colors your terminal supports. So I have this test ANSI function, which prints 16 colors. So on most terminals this should work and print all the different 16 colors. But if you want to see if your terminal supports 256 colors, you can add the 256 there, and it will print the colors from 1 to 256. And if your terminal does not support 256 colors, then most of this will be just gray. So then you could Google the settings for your terminal and see if you can manage to get it show 256, because the color schemes with 256 colors look a lot nicer. So another feature is the bracket highlighter. So if I have a pair of braces like this and my cursor is inside them, it will highlight the brackets I'm inside. So you see here you have an underline under these ones, and if I add some square brackets and I'm inside those, then it will instead highlight these. And if I have some erasures like this, and as my cursor move around, it will highlight the ones the cursor is inside. One feature that a lot of editors have is what I call automatic bracket insertion. So if I insert some left braces here, they are completed with their corresponding right brace, and if I delete them, then the corresponding brace is also deleted. So if I press backspace now, it deletes all of them, and I can combine them like this and just delete them. And this also works for strings, so if you start a string, for example, like this, it inserts both of them and then you can start typing straight away in it, and if you delete the string, it just removes it like that. Some people don't like it, so it's easy to disable. You just put false on this, enable autocomplete brackets function, like that. And now if I do some left braces, it just works like it normally would. It is quite common to see, like if you're on the Julia forum, you see something like this. They ask help, my code is slow or something, and then they have something pasted from the REPL basically. And now typically you would like to run this person's example, and what you typically would have to do is you have to try delete all the prompts there, and then we delete all the output like that, and now we can just run it. But doing that is a bit annoying and unnecessary, so it would be better if we just straight away just paste what this guy posted. So what PimpMyREPL has is something called prompt pasting. So basically what it does is if you paste something like this, it detects this initial Julia prompt and just figures out which is code and which is output. So now if I just take this thing, I can just paste it straight in the REPL, and all of the output is removed and all the prompts are removed, so there's no need to scrub away all the unnecessary stuff. So here we have the function again. It warns that we're redefining f because I pasted it before, and we have the two time functions here. And I can also of course just take stuff from the REPL and just paste it like that. And it's just a small thing that makes life a bit more convenient, that you don't have to always scrub away this output and prompts and stuff. I would like to add that this feature actually exists on 0.6 now without using PimpMyREPL. But I'm guessing a lot of people will still be on 0.5 for quite a while, so if you want to use it on 0.5, you can just use this package. Now the last thing I want to talk about is error messages. So I have a function which just prints an error message like that. And there's a few things about this error message I don't like. The first thing is that everything is in bold and in the color red. Now color is good to highlight things, but if everything is color highlighted in the same color, then nothing is. So another thing that I usually have problems is locating the names of the files where the function is defined. It's easily that this file name blends in with the types to the left of it, and I also sometimes have problems finding the actual function names because usually the types are quite long and this function name can easily be lost in all this red sea here. So PimpMyREPL has an alternative way of writing these errors. So as long now, before I did this recording, I set an environmental variable which is called legacy errors, and it's now set to true. And if I delete this one like that, now I no longer have activated the legacy error mode, and if I now print error again, it looks a bit different. It looks like this. So what are the differences here between the previous error messages? So, well, the first thing to note is that the stack trace is actually reversed, so the thing on top of the stack is down here. Now the reason why I think this better is that if the stack trace is quite long, you're usually interested in the top stack frame. So by writing it in reverse order like this, it will be down here close to where your cursor will be. Now the second thing is that this error messages, while it takes a little bit more space, I think it has a lot more structure. So all the file names and their line number are aligned on a separate line like this, so it's easy to find them. The function names are in bold, while the function argument types are not in bold, so it's quite easy to find the function names. And each stack frame also has a number, and what you can do is, if you, for example, enter number 1 here for stack frame number 1, and if I bring my editor here and now I press Ctrl Q, you will actually jump to your editor at the file for stack frame number 1 and the line number. So now here I'm on line number 242. And for this to work, you need to set the editor environment. So I have Sublime text here, but anything should work that Julia supports. So I could, for example, jump to stack frame number 4 here, and now I'm there. And let's just see if I have some random error like this, and I jump to stack frame 1 here. Now I'm into the error.jl file where it's defined. So with this way, it's pretty easy to jump around in the stack trace here. And if you try to do it with a number that's outside, so for example, if I try to jump to number 3 here, nothing happens. And also, if you have a function in the REPL that errors, so now if I run this, it says that you had an error in the REPL, and of course you can't jump to the error there because there's no corresponding file. And there are a few options for how these error messages are printed, and there's the Julia info color environmental variable. So if I set that to yellow and I now rerun the error message, then the file and the file number will be in yellow, and I also have the funcdef color. So if I take that to green, then the function names are in that color. So there's this environmental variable to control how the functions are printed, and this one to control how the file name and the line number is printed. So some people like it with more colors, some like it with less colors, so it's up to you. So I think that was everything. If you have any problems using this package, just create an issue and try to describe as well as you can exactly what you did, and I'll look into it pretty quickly. And thanks for watching this video. See you.